I've been back in the gaming scene for about a couple of months now, therefore I've been doing lots of reading and watching videos on the games that I've missed out, and as well as some of the interesting titles that are coming up soon. Ergo, let's do a list of 10 games that I'll be insta-buying on their release dates. Let's start with number 1. Bunker Survival is an adventure/survival game that's set in an apocalyptic world, my favorite genre. As per the title, your HQ is a bunker, but it looks like you'll be spending most of your time outdoors when the conditions are right. For example, when the radiation level is low enough to travel outside, that'll be the right time to go out and scavenge for what's left of the Earth. You may be one of the few people left alive, but you won't be lonely thanks to all the deadly mutated animals and critters roaming the post-apocalyptic landscape. You'll be happy to know that a Pip-Boy inspired all-in-one wrist thingamajiggy will help you traverse this deadly world. Number 2 is Propnight, a game that's basically a mash between Prop Hunt and Dead by Daylight. It's similar to Prop Hunt in that you hide in plain sight as one of the props in the respective level, but you also see the characters set up as 4v1, and another notable thing is them starting a generator, presumably to aid in the escape, which is surely inspired by Dead by Daylight. Anywho, I've missed out on Dead by Daylight when it was one of the most popular titles on Steam. This time, I plan to hop on the hype train right from the get-go. Number 3 is Asterigos. It is an RPG game, and in it, you play as the badass Legion warrior Hilda, who enters a mythical cursed city to find her father, who supposedly had gone missing. As she explores the city, she comes to a realization that before it fell, the city was once a great civilization. Based on the trailer, the combat mechanic is very Dark Souls-esque. Being an RPG title, I think we can safely assume that there's some type of an upgrade or level up system incorporated. What's interesting is that the game description says that with the choices you make, you can change the kingdom's fate and even restore it to its former glory. Maybe there's still a chance for the former inhabitants of the city in the ways of freeing them, or perhaps there's some type of time travel aspect in the game, but that's just me hoping for something wild like that.
Because, Father, I will find you!
Number 4 is the Invincible. It is a first-person sci-fi thriller adventure game set in a retro future timeline. The premise of the game is that the crew of your spaceship had gone missing on a mysterious planet, so you do what you would do and go down to the planet to find your crew. Based on the game description, it looks as though the story will be decision-based. Basically, your choices will have real consequences. How heavily the devs lean on that system, we won't know until more information is released. What I like about this game is the retro future design, which reminds me of the Alien franchise, and I guess I could also add the Fallout series to that. The game progression is non-linear, and therefore how the story unfolds will depend on the relationships you build or avoid for that matter. And it looks as though some of your skill levels may affect the outcomes of the major story arcs in the game. We have Instinction in number 5. It is a cinematic story-based action-adventure game. This game, more than anything, I love that it's got dinosaurs and the amazing graphics. If the trailer is anything to go by, I think it could be a truly epic experience. There's combat in the game. I would have been disappointed if I couldn't shoot at the dinos. You'll also be challenged with environmental puzzles. Hopefully they're more than just move this block here and voila. You're supposedly exploring an unknown civilization, and it looks like there's going to be some backstory to that as well. That could be really interesting, but more than anything, it's gonna have beautiful dinosaurs.
I found them. After all this death, if you had the chance to do it all again, what would you have done?
Number 6 is Blind Descent. It is an open-world survival adventure game that's set on Mars in the year 2071. You play as a member of the rescue team that's tasked to find and bring back the pioneering team of the newly opened mine on Mars. In the beginning phase of the mission, the rescue team rides the elevator to the 10-mile deep cave. During the descent, the elevator crashes and only a few members of your team survive the accident. Subsequently, you lose contact with the surface and there's no sign of the pioneering team that you've been sent to rescue. You continue moving through the cave and eventually come across an incredible subterranean world beneath Mars. Journey to the center of the Earth, anyone? It looks like there's going to be crafting, building, resource gathering / managing, and combat incorporated in the game. The devs have undoubtedly got a very ambitious project here. If it is a cross between the forest and the much improved No Man's Sky, without the spaceships obviously, I think I'll be very happy playing this game. Number 7 is Bright Memory Infinite. This game is all about the graphics and gunplay. The story is something about the sky going crazy and there being no explanation for it. The sky going crazy is good because it'll provide us with plenty of mean enemies to shoot at, and based on the trailer, the gunplay looks solid, like really good. The game's being developed by a Chinese studio, and I think the English dialogue is going to be laughably bad. Just watch the trailer and you'll see what I mean. I'd also add that the cutscene animations look really crude, and I'm being kind when I say that. But again, it's the gunplay that draws me. I really want to try this game. Number 8 is Castle Manager. It looks very much like Fallout Shelter, but with more complexity added to it. Essentially, you're in charge of managing a castle. You'll have to provide your citizens with food by building the butcher shops and setting up farms to harvest crops. In terms of the military, you'll have to recruit soldiers and provide them with proper weapons by hiring blacksmiths and building armories. The game offers a more peaceful manner of playthrough as well, with the diplomacy mechanic, which will enable negotiations with other kingdoms. I don't know how I feel about this, but there's some micromanaging of the community in terms of personal conflicts between your subjects, punishing criminals, and taking care of the spiritual development of your citizens. I feel that things like this can get very repetitive very soon, but we'll know more soon enough. Oh, and lastly, your king has to be satisfied with your work, and so it looks like efficiency won't be the be-all and end-all in terms of strategy. You might have to base your work on the character and/or personality of your king. That could be interesting. Number 9 is Raga. It is an RTS city builder that's set in a Slavic reality. Interestingly, the cultures of the East and West will somehow intertwine in the game. If they do it right, the melding of the two ancient cultures can be very exotic indeed. The gameplay will revolve around the much familiar build and manage mechanic. start from a small village and grow it to an empire, provide food to your citizens and raise a formidable army. You'll also be able to trade with other villages, and when it comes to combat, it looks like you'll be fighting monsters and deadly creatures. The last city builder I played was banished and was very much disappointed by it. Here's me hoping that this game will blow my mind.
Said they sought peace. Beloved, we were all deceived. When you return, do not despair for too long. You must make ready, for the worst is yet to come.
Number 10 is Negative Atmosphere. It is a third-person survival horror game that's clearly been heavily influenced by the Dead Space franchise. It looks like you'll get to wear an epic exoskeleton suit, have access to deadly weapons, and use them to kill some of the creepiest mutants humanly imaginable. What's not to love about that? The game is set in space on a spaceship, and the monsters are what's become of your former crewmates. It looks like there's going to be a type of morality-based decision-making in the game, and that'll influence how the story progresses. I've been hungry for a good Dead Space sequel, and this game might just curb that hunger. Let me know in the comment section which games you guys plan to purchase in the near future. I've been having so much fun in the last couple of months since I started gaming again. Taking a break from working 6 days a week, often 7 days a week for the past 5 years was the best thing I did in recent memory. My latest selections of games were mostly indie games, but I soon plan to play some of the bigger titles as well. And this is a bit off topic, but I've also been learning Blender and Unreal Engine on the side. No, I'm not planning to become a game developer, I'm not that smart. But they're a lot of fun to mess around with, and not to mention, I think it's good for the brain to be stimulated consistently. Lastly, I wanted to ask you guys which online shooters you guys like to play. I want to get back to playing multiplayer FPS games, but I'm unsure which one I might invest my time in. The last FPS title that I sank in an extensive amount of time was AVA. And Call of Duty, I mostly played casually, and that was like back in 2015. Let me know why you might suggest a title and why the others should be avoided, or something like that. Thanks for watching, Kronos out.